Hey, 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 hi, and we are live. And I would like to just say a special welcome tonight because we have something really, really exciting lined up for you tonight, and especially those of you who enjoy the art of being able to bypass your logic and your consciousness and be able to make change at the speed of light. So if you like the thought of changing your world, changing your habits, changing your life so that it doesn't take months, years, it actually happens with a fast and rapid method, then you have come to the right place tonight. So what I'd like to do is introduce you to a very special guest who I'm going to be bringing on in just a moment, you guys. And this gentleman is really familiar with the entertaining world. So he has been really spent a lot of his life in the entertainment industry on stage, and today he is now not so much on stage, but he is really a leading hypnotherapist. He is a person who has a speed induction, and he is incredible at being able to put people into an induction at the speed of light. So I'm going to be introducing you to our leading hypnotist, Rob de Groof, from the other side of the world, but I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to bring him on now with no further ado, and I'm also going to ask you, if you are viewing this, that you can ask questions, and the questions that you ask can be related to Rob. He will see your questions and he will answer. So with no further ado, I bring to you Rob. G'day, Rob.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. So we've got two lots of groups watching. We've got our Facebook group and we are also on the business page. So firstly, where are you?
I'm in Belgium at the moment. I'm at my office in the hypnosis center here in Belgium. So that is actually our main office. We have two other offices in Belgium as well, but mainly I work here because this is my hometown where everything started. So normally I'm traveling the world a lot to teach, but now I'm stuck in Belgium because we can't travel, of course.
Yes, so because of what is going on in our world. So, tell me, Rob, what actually made you go from stage entertainer, hypnotist to where you are now, training and leading the way with other coaches and hypnotherapists?
Actually, I learned hypnosis just to be on stage because I was running an entertainment business for many years, and mostly we were working for children. So we did some street theater, some stilt walking, juggling, fire spitting, all those things. And I worked with a lot of freelance artists. We were putting artists in the Netherlands and Belgium on all kinds of events and organizations. But I was getting a bit tired of performing all the time for children. So I wanted to do something more for adults. So I can't sing. So there were only two choices left. So I could become a stripper or I could become a hypnotist. So because the career of a stripper is not that long, there's a certain age that you have to stop your career. So I decided to go for hypnosis. So there was never nothing in my mind that thought that I was going to become a hypnotherapist, because I only wanted to learn hypnosis to do it on stage or street hypnosis or whatever, and in the demonstrations and things like that, but not as in therapy, because my mind of a therapist was somebody who sees people for a long period of time. With a long time, people have to tell their entire life story, and then you're going to work with them. So that was what I had in mind of being a therapist, also being a hypnotherapist. But then I got in contact with Jeffrey Stevens, an U.S. hypnotist, already deceased, sadly enough, and he became my mentor. It was somebody sent me his DVDs, and he said, you have to have a look at this because this is no nonsense hypnosis. It's actually specially designed for you. So I had a look at it, and I said, oh, maybe I can do hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and help people with this, because this is really short, powerful sessions. Most of the time, one session will do the job. So this is something that I thought maybe I can do it. Because at that time, I was already convinced that you can't become a good hypnotist when you don't hypnotize people a lot. Especially in the beginning, when you learn hypnosis, I think it's really important that you hypnotize as many as people as possible. So that's what I tell my newbie students, the ones who start from scratch learning hypnosis. I always tell them after the training, don't leave it on the shelf for like 6 months. No, go out there, hypnotize people, even if it's your relatives, but keep busy with hypnotizing people, especially with the instant inductions, because you need confidence. When you're not confident as a hypnotist or as a hypnotherapist, you're not going to have good results. So it's really important to build that confidence by hypnotizing people, by helping people when you want to become a hypnotherapist. So, and in Belgium, it's not that easy to do entertainment hypnosis because of the language. We are a so small country. It's you can only drive like 3 hours here in Belgium, and you leave the country. It's not like Australia, but you can drive for hours. But here in Belgium, and still we have actually 3 official languages. So we have a lot of people speaking French. I'm a Dutch speaker, so that's my mother tongue. So, but when you do stage hypnosis, especially when you want to do corporate, where the money is, of course, then they will ask to do the show in 2 languages, and that's not easy because I can't entertain in French. I can do it in English, but then of course the most of the French speakers won't understand it anymore. So it's not easy to keep busy and hypnotize a lot when you do only entertainment. So that's why I became a hypnotherapist, and my goal was to like 2 or 3 clients a week, just to keep busy and hypnotizing people. But I used the same marketing strategies as I did with my entertainment business, and at that time I was the only hypnotherapist in the entire of Belgium using Google AdWords. So I started using Google AdWords, and after like 3 months, I had a full-time hypnotherapy business. And now we are 10 years later. I have 8 therapists working for me, so we are in total a team of 9 therapists, including myself. In 3 different cities. So yeah, it's and I'm actually, I don't do entertainment anymore. For me, the entertainment that I'm doing now is things like this. That's for me also entertainment.
And you're not doing any strip shows or anything like that.
No, not today. No.
So
Maybe next time when I'm in Australia and after training and I'm a bit drunk, then maybe we can end up with a strip show. No.
So I take
So
it.
that's what I'm doing now.
You know, when people think of hypnosis, a lot of people think of mind control. You know, I have found that, you know, the moment you mention, you know, that you're a hypnotist, people go, oh my gosh, they're going to take control of my mind. But that couldn't be further from the truth. My thoughts are, with the kind of work that people like you and I do, it's not about us taking control of the mind. It's about people unhypnotizing themselves from the old habits and patterns that they've been utilizing. And of course, when I went through and I was learning inductions, and guys, you're going to have a really great lineup tonight, because Rob is going to show you a fast induction. And I know that when I went through training, it took me 3 years to make the decision to go into hypnosis, and I followed Milton Erickson. And of course, my kind of skill set is probably quite different to yours, and yet I believe very complementary, because it is kind of like the art of the language and talking to people. And sometimes, and I guess you'll find this, and I really want to ask you this question too, that some people say, I cannot be hypnotized. And when they say that, what they're really saying is, you know, can you put me to sleep? Or I'm not actually going, you know, nobody can actually put me under. And, you know, the fact is that I say to them, well, that's okay. You don't have to go to sleep now.
No.
Because really, you know, sleeping is just a choice. So, you know, I do a lot of the waking hypnosis as well as the sleeping hypnosis. But tell me about your, I guess, your most favorite method of what you find works the best in actually putting people into trance.
I think one of the most important things is not the induction. It's more the pre-talk, but I don't do a pre-talk, so that's something. So let me tell you a bit about that. So what I don't do is an actual pre-talk in the therapy room. So people are entering my therapy room, and I don't do a pre-talk because I already did the pre-talk in a video. So the moment people book a session with us, they get an email, a confirmation, of course, and in that confirmation there is a video, and in that video it's an interactive video. They can select what therapist that they are going to see, and then the therapist will show up on screen and will give the pre-talk on video. And why did I start doing this is, first of all, because there was a period that I did like 5 clients a day, 5 days a week. And then you're finding yourself repeating that pre-talk again and again. And then you're not going to sleep, and you're going to keep listening to my voice. And it's normal that you still have thoughts in your mind. And I was really getting bored of doing that over and over again. So I decided to create a video. And since I do, because the other thing that I experienced is when you tell people all this information, like 5 minutes before you're going to hypnotize them, they say yes, I understand, and then you hypnotize them, and after that they say, but I was not asleep and I could hear everything. So they don't process the information. The moment you send the pre-talk video up front before they come on the session, they can watch it at their own home. At their own time. They can rewatch it. So the information has time to sink in. So the moment you hypnotize them, they're totally ready. They're totally prepared. They know everything. They know that they're not going to be asleep. They know that they have to follow your. I'm a direct hypnotist, an authoritarian hypnotist. So they really have to follow my instructions. Because otherwise I just send them home if they don't follow my instructions. Yeah, they just have to leave. They have to pay me and they have to leave. So they don't do it with me. So they know.
So you've got a very direct, authoritarian kind of hypnosis. And that is really, really, really interesting, because, you know, a lot of people, they will, you know, they come in and they either expect to go to sleep. So here's the interesting part, and maybe you can answer this question. You know, when people, I'm going to give an illustration. One day I was talking to an architect outside a building of my house, and architects are quite critical thinking, very logical, very and yet creative. But this guy, when I told him he was a hypnotist, the first thing he said is, oh my gosh, you're going to turn me into a chicken, right? Yeah. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, me turn you into a chicken? And there were all these construction workers there, right, Rob? And he goes, yeah, you know, like one of those silly stage hypnotists that you get. And I'm going, what are you talking about? Like, what silly stage hypnotists are you talking about? And he said, you know, the ones that, you know, get people to actually get up and start clucking around. And I said, what do you mean clucking around? Like, what do they actually do? And he says, well, they get up, and he starts doing this action and walking up and down my front yard clucking like a chicken. Yep. And I said, Point demonstrated.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that a really good hypnotist is actually designed to, I believe it's almost like you're unleashing and uninhibiting people so that they will do these things. They're in a waking state, but they think, oh my gosh, how did I actually do that? And why did I actually do it? But it's because you kind of, there's something that just let down the guard. But I think with no further ado, I want to hand this over to you. And I want to give our audience some really great, I guess, value, entertainment, and something that's going to be, I believe, absolutely interesting, especially if you are specifically interested in this kind of style of hypnotism. So I'm going to actually give you the screen, Rob, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let our viewers know that you are going to do a demonstration on an actual induction. So how does that sound?
Okay, great. So yeah, I will. So let me switch to this screen so that I can give you some pointers as well on the screen. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to talk a bit about first why I use instant induction. So I think it's really important that when you hypnotize people that you're able to do some instant inductions. I don't like all the long inductions like relaxation because we actually don't do relaxation therapy. For me, hypnosis is putting somebody into hypnosis with a quick and a powerful induction. That's also the name of my induction training is fast and powerful induction. And I think also not only for when you're doing hypnotherapy, but also when you go out there and do a demonstration or when you do a talk about hypnosis, maybe for a service club or at a community house or whatever, and people want to hear you talk about hypnosis. Of course, it's really interesting that you can tell stories about success stories that you had with clients, what is hypnosis and things like that. But I think it's even more important that you can demonstrate something. It's really important that you can do a quick induction, a fast and powerful induction, and then maybe do some, have people stuck their hand on their head or something like that. Because when you show something to people, then you will plant a seed in their mind, and then later, like maybe sometimes a year later, when they have a problem and they have an issue that they want to get rid of, they will remember you as the hypnotist that did that demonstration. They're not going to remember all the stories that you told them because the demonstration is visual. They see somebody from the audience. They know that it's not a stooge because most of the time when you do like for a service club, they know who is in the audience. So they know that you didn't bring a stooge and do this. So they're really convinced that you can do something special. And then they will see you as the solution for their problem as well. So I think it's really important that every hypnotherapist out there is able to do demonstrations as well. So so why I do instant inductions? Because I already told you I don't do relaxation therapy, so you will never see me do a progressive muscle relaxation like body scan induction, because it's possible. Yeah, you can do it. It's easy. It's spectacular. People love it. Also in the therapy room, they actually love it because. And it's an experience for them, and it's really important that people, when they are in your therapy room, that they have also a kind of experience. So that is why I'm actually only doing instant induction. Let me tell you something about why I never use the word relax. Even when I do a full session, you will not hear me say relax and go more and more relaxed, because we don't do relaxation therapy, what I already told you. And hypnosis is not equal to relaxation. You don't have to be relaxed to be hypnotized, because sometimes I hypnotize people using active alert hypnosis. For my new hypnofasting protocol that I'm creating now. So we have a training at the end of this month. I will give you some more information about that later. People will get an audio hypnosis recording that they can use while walking, so they are not relaxed. So they can choose. They will have a hypnosis recording that they can just listen with headphones in a comfortable chair, like the classic hypnosis inductions or recordings that you can watch on YouTube or download wherever. But we also offer them an active alert hypnosis recording. So you don't have to be relaxed to be hypnotized, even when you just put them on a chair and hypnotize them. So, and there is another reason that I don't want them to be too relaxed, because my sessions are really short. My sessions are like from induction to exduction, it's maximum 15 minutes. Most of the time it's even shorter, like 10 minutes. It depends on what type of techniques I'm using or combining some techniques. But I don't want them to be too relaxed, because one of the biggest mistakes that therapists are making, and that's one of the reasons that sometimes they don't have good success rates, is that they keep on talking after the session. So after the exduction, the moment I bring people back out of hypnosis, I want them to leave my office as soon as possible, because I don't want to talk much after the session anymore, because most of the sessions are redone, are just reset after the exduction, because people still are talking about the problem, about the issue, and actually the issue has to be gone at that time. So, or the subconscious mind is working on that issue. So don't talk about that issue anymore after the exduction. So the moment they come out of hypnosis, I will start talking about something that I'm going to send them. I will send them a follow-up email like 3 weeks later. So I will talk about that, and then I make sure that they are outside on the parking lot like 5 minutes after the exduction, and that's why I don't use the word relaxation, and I don't want them to be too relaxed, because my mentor Jeffrey Stevens, he always said, I don't want people to relax, because 20 minutes later I'm gonna kick them out of my office. When they're too relaxed, they don't want to go, and that's correct, because when they're too relaxed, when they feel too comfortable, they just want to stay and talk with you, because people love to talk about their problem, but we don't want them to talk about the problem after the session anymore. I even want them to talk a lot about the problem before the session, but that's something else. So you will also see that on every video that you see or picture that you see me hypnotizing somebody, I never use a recliner. I don't like recliners to hypnotize people, because you don't see feedback. When you put somebody on a regular chair, you see feedback. You see what the body is doing. Of course, it depends on what type of sessions that you're doing. I always do very short sessions. Of course, when you start doing a regression type of session, or like a Simpson protocol, something that can take a while, that can take a long time, then of course it's better to put people in a recliner, a comfortable chair. But for when you do short sessions, short and powerful sessions like I'm doing, you don't need a recliner, because when they sit in the recliner, the body is already totally relaxed, so you don't see any feedback from your instant induction. And for me, it's also much more easier to do an instant induction when they sit on a regular chair. And like I said, the sessions are only like 10 minutes. So yeah, they don't need to sit really comfortable in a recliner. So and the other thing is, when you hypnotize always in a recliner, you start getting to depend on it. And then maybe when you're out there somewhere and you have to do a demonstration, and of course that you can't take your recliner all the time with you, then maybe you're not able to do a good session, good induction. So I think it's really important. I see a question here about what are your success rate for quit smoking. That's when I did the quit smoking sessions myself. I always said I had a 95% success rate, and it's not always easy to measure, of course, because we send mails after 3 weeks. Some people react, especially the Belgian people don't react that much, but most of the people I know I had contact with, sometimes later, then they come for another session, or they do a referral. So when you do your stop smoking sessions with clients who are really want to quit smoking, then you have a 95% success rate. And but I think it's really important that the price is right, that you don't get those people who said, yeah, let's give it a chance. So I think that's really important. and you also have to educate them. One of the things that I tell my stop smoking clients is the fact that my wife is a smoker, and she's still a smoker, because at the moment she doesn't want to quit smoking. And some people find it really strange that a hypnotherapist that is known all around the world to help people with stop smoking, that his wife is still a smoker. And I'm not gonna hide it, because I think it's very valuable information for my clients. When I say my wife is a smoker, it's the exact good example that you can't help somebody who doesn't want to quit. So it's not because I'm teaching people how to help people quit smoking, and I did a lot of stop smoking sessions, that my wife has to become a non-smoker. It's her choice. As long as she wants to smoke. My wife is Bulgarian. It's a very cultural thing over there. A lot of people are smoking there. It's going down, but still, the most smokers in the entire Europe are you can find in Bulgaria. So some people they even smoke while they are eating. It's disgusting. She's not doing that, luckily. But as long as she's not ready to become a non-smoker, I'm never gonna hypnotize her. So I tell it to my clients, and then you educate your clients, and that's a very, very important part of the success rate. So be sure that your clients want to quit smoking, and then your success rate will grow anyway. So let me show you one induction. It's called the elbow surprise induction. This is an induction that I mostly do with people who I see for a second time. So when they were in a program like hypnofasting or virtual gastric band, they come for a second time. Then I will do this induction. I don't think it's a very good induction to do with a first time client, because you will see it's quite full on. I will show you a second induction later. That's actually one that I created myself. It's the Rob's flip-flop induction. But let me show you this one first. Okay, let's go. I have to change something on the audio settings, because otherwise you're not going to hear my video. Just 1 second. Okay. Can you still hear me? Can somebody just give me a signal that they can hear me, so then I'm sure that the video will work as well, because I switched to another mode.
Yes, I can hear you, Rob.
Okay,
All good.
great. So this is the first induction. Focus on the tip of my finger. That's right. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and then again to open your eyes. And you will notice as every time when you try to open your eyes, it's getting harder and harder to open your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Sleep. Deeper and deeper. All the way down. Deep. Deeper. Okay, so this is the elbow surprise induction. What's actually happening here is that you start by just pointing your finger towards the eyes of your client. So it's really important that normally when for the people out there who already know some inductions with those fixation inductions, mostly you will read in books or people will teach you to keep your finger above eye level, because when they're fixating on somebody something, it's better to look above eye level, because then the eyes will get tired much faster. But with this induction, it's not necessary, it's not good even to put it higher than eye level. So it's really important that you point your finger towards their eyes. So the first instruction that you give is, I want you to focus on the tip of my finger. And then you say, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And then again, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. And every time I ask you to open your eyes, you will find it harder to open your eyes. So in their mind, they are building something like, okay, and a certain moment, my eyes are not going to open again. And that's so because people they analyze what you're doing. So even when you have this analytic thinking, they will they will be surprised because that's not what you're going to do, obviously. So so then again, eye level. Then you say close your eyes. You wait a bit. You say open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. And then the third time when you say close your eyes, the moment their eyes are shut, you will point your elbow. Let me do it with this elbow. You point your elbow on the exact level, also on eye level. And the moment they open their eyes, they will be surprised because they are still expecting a finger, of course, and now they see this big elbow. And then the timing has to be, it's the timing is key in this, of course. So the moment you say sleep, you lower your elbow. So sleep. So it's really important first that the timing is correct, so that you can't do this sleep and then lower your elbow later. No, that's not going to work. So it's really important that the moment you give your command sleep, and the command sleep is really important that it sounds like a command. You can change the word sleep. We are not going into the discussion about that you need the word sleep or not. You can say loose. You can say whatever. If you're not if you don't want to use the word sleep, because I know some people say, yeah, but you tell in the pre-talk that they're not going to sleep, and then again in the induction you use the word sleep. I use the word sleep. I don't care about that because people they just go in, and I think it's a very powerful word. But if you're not want to use the word sleep, just say loose or whatever, or you can say whatever you want. So you don't need that word, but it's really important that the command has to sound like a command. So the moment you say sleep, it has to sound like sleep, and not like sleep. And no, it's really it really has to. You don't have to yell them out of their chair, of course, but it's really important that it sounds like a command. And then the big mistake that everybody is making, especially when you're new to instant inductions, they do the induction and then they forget to start deepening immediately, because when you say sleep with an instant induction, it's really important that you keep in mind that the faster you go into hypnosis, the quicker will be the reaction to come out. So you have to start deepening immediately. So when you say sleep and then you're watching like, is this working, is this not, and you forget to talk, then your client will come out of hypnosis again. So that's really important to start talking and just say deeper, 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 and then go on with whatever deeper that you want to use. So this is the first induction. Terry, questions about this induction?
I love it. Okay, so questions. So firstly, I'm going to go to my audience and ask if anyone does have a question they would like to list, and I will ask that to Rob. Perhaps I can ask you a couple of questions. So what do you think it is about the fact that, because I don't know whether you knew of the handshake, there was a handshake induction. So what happens is there's a sleight of hand and then the other hand comes across. So there's this confusion technique that happens, and the brain kind of like does this little somersault and then changes state. And then somehow when you're making the command sleep, it's like that person goes into this trance or feels compelled to do that. But do you believe, because Milton Erickson, I mean, he wasn't the same sort of hypnotist as, he didn't do those same inductions. But in a way, in another way he did, because you're doing this as with the point finger. Do you think, the question being, do you think that the person goes into that trance because it's like this confusion, like they're looking at a finger and they're opening their eyes, they're closing their eyes, they're opening their eyes, they're closing their eyes, and then all of a sudden you're putting up an elbow and the brain can't compute it. Do you think that is a confusion technique?
This is a combination of a confusion and a shock. So actually, the moment they open their eyes, they see something that they're not expecting. So because they because I conditioned them to expect the little finger, of course, because I'm pointing the tip of my finger. So this is a small area that they watch. And then when the third time when they open their eyes, they expect the same thing, of course. And in their mind, they think that at a certain point the eyes will be so heavy that they can't open them anymore. So that's what in their mind is going on. So and now they see this elbow, and of course they are confused. So their mind is confused. So the critical faculty is actually going to the side because they are confused. And the moment I say the command sleep, of course, and I lower my elbow, it's a combination because they will follow this because they are watching to this. Then I do this and they will follow and close their eyes because I never say close their eyes. I just say sleep. And they follow and close their eyes and go with the flow, of course. And then it's really important that you take over immediately and that you say deeper, 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 and go on with some deepeners, depending on what type of session you're going to do and depending on what type of client you have. If you already know that you have a somnambulist, then of course they don't need much deepening anymore. But yeah, so we have a question.
Yep, so I'll go over to John Bills first. Do you come across people often that don't respond to hypnosis?
Actually, never. The thing is, of course, there are two settings. When you have a hypnotherapy setting, people are having an issue. They book an appointment with a hypnotherapist. They want to get rid of their issues, so they are ready to be hypnotized. They want to go into hypnosis. So the only type of clients that will fight the hypnosis sometimes, and because when they don't fight it, when they follow my instructions, they will be hypnotized. That's quite obvious. So when they follow my instructions, I can do a good session with them. When they don't follow up my instructions, and the only type of people or clients that you have it with are people with an addiction. So like a drug addiction or a medicine addiction or whatever, or alcohol abuse. Because a lot of the times those people are not making the decision themselves to come to the hypnotherapist. So sometimes it's a family member or the doctor, their GP that says, hey, maybe you have to get rid of this addiction. And one of the last times I really had a client that I couldn't work with was somebody with a cocaine addiction, and his wife joined him for the session. Of course, she couldn't enter the therapy room because I don't allow anybody else than me and the client inside of my therapy room. But yeah, and in the intake chat that we had about the problem, I noticed that he was not having a really issues with his cocaine using, because he had a good business. So in his mind there was not really a problem, but the problem was that his wife didn't want him to use cocaine. So those are type of people that don't respond on hypnosis because they're not ready to hypnotize, because they don't want to change. When somebody wants to change, they will give hypnosis a chance. They will follow up my instructions and they will be hypnotized. That's no problem there.
Yes, in fact, I find that especially with those sticky kind of addictions, such as drug addiction, I had a man who'd been addicted to heroin for like 30 years. He was in his 40s. He'd lost his kids to the government department, and he was in a real pickle. And the fact is that he loved the drugs that he was taking. He loved the feeling that it was giving him. And, you know, the one thing, I guess this is where my kind of hypnosis is a little bit unique from yours, is that I found out what was underneath and what was the higher purpose. Because, you know, I often say to people, and this leads me to my last question with you, because we've just got time for one last question. which is, do you believe that the fact that you're talking to your client about not having to relax and not, even wanting them to relax, what I found is that as you were saying that and you were emphasizing on how, it's not important and you don't even want them to relax, I found myself becoming quite relaxed. So my question is, we have got a funny brain. We've got some of us, if you say black, we'll do white. And, I know one of my habits was, you don't have to give up drugs now if you don't want to. Nobody's telling you that that is the right thing to do, isn't it? But the fact is that it's kind of like the non-resistant language that makes them kind of like you're throwing them the rope, so they're in a position where they are almost having to make that decision. And I just wonder, Rob, do you think that your hypnosis is successful because you are giving so many instructions about, what it is not necessary to do, and as a result, it's actually happening by default?
Yeah, I think I think it's really important that you as a hypnotherapist has the control of everything that's going on. So I'm actually really in control. When they one of the things that I don't want them to do is tell the entire life story. My question is, can you explain the issue that you have in 2 words? And I don't want more than 2 words. They can say, I'm a smoker or whatever, or I want to lose weight or whatever. But I'm not interested in the entire story, because then you as a hypnotist are being hypnotized. And then, because I work with the subconscious mind. I don't do conversational hypnosis or things like that. I hypnotize them and I work when they are under hypnosis. I don't like them to do. I'm not a coach. I'm not a psychotherapist. So I really want to work with the subconscious mind. So I think it's really important that you give them the feeling that. And you explain them in a good pre-talk video what and if people want, I will share a link that people can have my pre-talk video and also the script of it, so they can record their own video and then just adapt the script and record a video. You will see that it will help your success rate, your sessions so good. So the fact that they know what to expect, that they know what I want from them, just makes it easier for them. And I think it's really important that you give them the idea that whatever is going on, whatever they do, as long as they follow my instructions, it will work. And I don't want to test them, because there are some people. There's one guy in Belgium, and he puts it on his website that he will first, before he starts a session, you will go through some tests. He's just doing balloon and books and magnetic fingers, and if you don't pass that test, he can't work with you. But that's putting a lot of pressure on those people. So they come in and they are still, oh, maybe he can't work, maybe I'm not a good client. So that's totally nonsense, because we had clients. I had like 5, and we had in our entire business, we had many of his clients who didn't pass the test, who he didn't want to do a session with them. They came here, and sometimes there were somnambulists. So I don't understand why he just refused to do a session with them, because their fingers were not working, or the balloons and books were not working. Yeah, okay, but you put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, like Michelle says, reverse psychology. So people think they're going under a test, and they suddenly need to pass the test before they even get to work with you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It gets them to raise their standard. And I guess, look, I am so appreciative of that. And if you could drop the link in the comments, Rob, and just quickly, how can people get in contact with you if they would like to do some training or come to know more about your service?
Yeah, I'm just gonna quick. No, that's private comments. Comments are here. Okay, great. Can I put a comment here? No, I can't put comments here, I think.
Okay, you may not be able to. I'm the one who has got it on this side. But what we can do is we'll drop that into
I will. I just.
after the
I did send it to you. So yeah, it's actually this is the longer link. Let me just give you a smaller link. It's actually European Hypnosis Academy.com/pre-talk, and pre-talk it's one word.
Awesome. That is so good. And we'll
then they will see.
We will see that does get dropped into our comments for you. And I just want to say thank you, Rob, for, just coming on board, giving, your precious time to this audience. And of course, we'll share across so that it will be seen on many platforms. And just before we close down, I just want to explain one of the reasons why I did not take this live stream directly to my profile. And it's purely and simply because, we want anyone who watches this, especially with the inductions. And I wasn't sure whether, Rob, you were going to do an induction where you were going to get everyone to go into a trance or give a demonstration. But of course, if people are tuning in and they're, accidentally scrolling while they're driving along, that is obviously not the sort of thing that we want to happen. So we do it for safety precautions. But that brings me to my final question. I know that I always tell people they need to be in a safe place before I do my hypnosis, because people do go very relaxed. They do go very, very deep. And they literally, that's the way I bypass and go through to the subconscious. Can a person be driving or listening to you while you're doing the kind of hypnosis you're doing? Because I know they couldn't with me.
They could do it with the active alert hypnosis. So when they're walking, when I give people a recording for active alert hypnosis, they just can go out and walk in the city, whatever. They will see red lights if they have to cross a street or whatever, because their eyes are open. They're actually more alert. It's actually, there is some scientific research done in 1976 about active alert hypnosis. I was taught by Claude Ribot from Switzerland. He was here in Belgium to do a training, the active alert training here. But it's actually scientifically proven that when you're reading a book or watching a training, and you at the same time you're exercising, maybe just like a desk bike or something, you're just exercising, your focus will raise with 30%. So also when people are listening to that recording, we have some people who are already in the hypno fasting program at the moment, and they all love that walking recording, because with the other recordings you have to go sit and you will be totally relaxed, and sometimes when you have to do it in the middle of the day, you don't want to go back to your work anymore because you're so I did a hypnosis session with myself yesterday, and after that session you really like, I'm feeling good. And then but with a 10-minute walk, I think the session is like 12 minutes. With a 12-minute walk, you will be energized, but you still got the suggestions of the hypnotist, and you're energized, so you can go back on with your work. So this is something that we are going to launch in the next couple of days. So if people are interested in becoming a hypno fasting expert, we are building a team all around the world with experts. And then they can go to hypnofasting.online/training. So there is all the information about how you can become a hypnofasting expert and how you can become a part of our international team. So that's and then they will also learn about those active recordings and things like that. So yeah,
fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. And I met Rob over on the Gold Coast because Rob was chosen also as one of 50 people in the world to represent your city. So you literally traveled all the way from Europe to the Gold Coast right on COVID, when COVID literally struck. And I was one of the people who represented our city here in Perth, Western Australia. And of course, you represented from over there. So that was a huge accomplishment to come all the way out. And, you know, what can I say, except this has been a totally stimulating, interesting and riveting session, just sitting and talking and just listening to what you've got to say. So I just want to say thank you for your time. And guys, feel free to continue to ask questions, because we will come back to them. And in the meantime, I would like to say, if you would like to be part of Rob's hypnotherapy, or if you would like to become part of what we are doing in the movement with our group, make sure you get in the group, because we've also got something coming up at the end of the month, and it is about getting into your wild success. And that's going to require this fast acting, you know, hypnosis that you've heard Rob talking about. That's going to require alert, fast results where you can break through the upper limit, because I feel that the only reason people are where they are at and they're stuck is because that's their limit. So what we're going to do is we're going to blow the lid off, and we're going to get you to expand. So that's going to be really super exciting. So guys, we'll drop Rob's link into the comments, and thank you for joining. And again, Rob, thank you for being here with us live.
You're welcome. I just sent another link as well. It's freeinductions.com. There you can sign up for a training with 3 inductions. It's totally free, and that's actually the same type of inductions that I showed before.
Fantastic. Okay, alrighty. So good night, everyone, and check the comments for the links. See you soon.